But it's also the target is Palestinian scholarship, pedagogy, and advocacy, and any voice and any movement that advocates justice in Palestine. This is the continuing collaboration. Also, the 2 days, the same day, they put another tweet. Israeli forces just arrested the Hamas, quote, Islamic bloc, just in case their Zionist supporters misunderstand, so they need to whip up some Islamophobia. A student at Birzeit University, where SFSU professor Rabab Abdulhadi is proudly holding a conference for suspected involvement in terrorist activities. This is part of a larger campaign that has multiple forms, and it has been going on at least at San Francisco State from 2002 to the present. I only joined the university in 2007, and I've seen it, but it has been going on. What's the goal? We have a very successful program now. But at the time the attacks began, we were about to institutionalize the program. When I was hired, I insisted that I have to be hired with other faculty members. So we had 3 professors, full-time, will be coming in to build the program together. After 2009, and I will show it to you, there was an attack, so the president of the university canceled the searches and proceeded to delete them from the budget. And so I ended up being one person program. So they were trying to attack us in order to stop the possibility of instituting an academic program which takes Palestine. This is the reverse of teaching Palestine in public. This is actually institutionalizing Palestine within the academy, institutionally. That becomes parcel of the curriculum that every single student at the university can learn. This is really important. So they were trying to stop it because we were about to get the program approved, but we did. We have 22 courses, and these are some of the courses that we have. We initiated and we started a memorandum of understanding with An-Najah National University that we are very happy that it is not only an agreement on paper, they'd like to keep it that way and delete it altogether, but it's actually an effective agreement that we continue collaborating and working with each other. And we also started the Edward Said Scholarship. And so we have, so these are some of the things, and we also support and validate student activism. However, the president of our university, and there's a typo here, on February 23rd, right before we came, issued a statement welcoming Zionists to campus. And I'm not going to read it all because I want to get through my presentation. I immediately responded as somebody who is responsible, who's also a member of the university, that I don't want this to be spoken in my face. I issued a statement saying this is a declaration of war against us, and that it is even a disservice, an offense to our Jewish sisters and brothers whose conscience refuses to allow Israel to speak in their name. So in a sense, Zionists do not own Jewishness. There are Jews who support Palestine historically, even before the Balfour Declaration until today, and we reject the fact that Zionists say that they speak for the Jews. This is not the case, okay? And we refuse that. We refuse that, and we demanded the immediate retraction of the statement. And reminding them that this is 50 years of 68, the spirit of 68 and justice. And it wasn't only me. The General Union of Palestine Students issued a statement, and immediately the Black Student Union, the African Diaspora Student Union, Black Resident Hall, Black Business Association students issued a statement condemning the president of the university. Soon thereafter, a new group founded on campus called Jews Against Zionism. So every act of attack, it actually has a response to it that produces more resistance and more support for Palestine. Jewish Voice for Peace issued a statement against Zionism. California Scholars for Academic Freedom challenged the president of the university. And this is really important, the Women and Gender Studies of San Francisco State Department issued a statement on the university website, also challenging the president's statement. Basically what we were doing all together, and people on their own, we were challenging the hegemony and the dominance of Zionism speaks and nobody else talks. People get silenced. We say, no, you don't have the truth, and also you don't have monopoly on knowledge, and we are going to be able to speak out. So every single time something like this happens, the counter effect is actually builds more and more and more support. I think if they were really a little bit smarter, maybe they would silence and leave us alone, and maybe there wouldn't be so much noise going on. And this is the list is continuing, and we have more. We also reminded them that if you allow Zionists to campus, you should also allow white supremacists. Actually, we shouldn't allow both. And that one of the leading white supremacists, Richard Spencer, who was a leader of Charlottesville, actually said on Israeli TV, "I'm a white Zionist." I'm a white Zionist. He said to the Israelis, why are you upset? Actually, we are the same. It's exactly as Verwood of South Africa told the Israelis. It's the same thing. Or Yair Netanyahu's tweets and so on. Just this is what we do. We produce knowledge. We provide knowledge. We have make things that are unknown known to people. And the apology of the president, which was sent to Hillel, which is the major Zionist organization on campus, this is what they stand for. Wherever we stand with Israel. And actually we say as Palestinians, we're also always critical of each other. We always have discussions. We don't have one point of view. We actually are much more democratically oriented in our interaction and collaboration than they are. And we put out all this, who owns Jewishness? And this is really bothering them. And so they try to silence us. And this is not a simple thing. It's actually funded by multi-million-dollar industry, by mega donors, and we can talk about that. This is a report that actually details the money trail based on only information that's available publicly. This is the anatomy. I don't have the time to go into it. But how do they do it? It's a new McCarthyism. They label people as terrorists, drawing on the war of terrors. They try, they spread racism. It is anti-Semitic smearing, misinformation unfolds. They invent new rules and regulations to police us. They ruin careers. Basically what they were trying to do to me is that ruin my career so other people would not dare speak up. Say, make a lesson, make an example of her. And this was said by the executive director of the Lawfare Project, the main group that actually is suing us. She said, we are going to exact a heavy price. In a video that's available online. The same video, she said there are no Palestinians in Islamophobia, that does not exist. These are the people who are. And also, it's very secretive donations, and there is no transparency and accountability. This is a history. I'm not going to talk about all of it. I'm just going to mention a couple of examples. One of the things, just to understand that the attack is actually happening within a context. It's not separate what's going on in Palestine. It's not separate what's going on in San Francisco State. In 2005, 2006, Palestinian students wanted to start a mural honoring Palestinian culture, honoring Edward Said. And this is what was in the mural. I want to show you to the left. There is Hamdallah. Hamdallah is carrying a pen in one hand and a key that says Al-Awda in the other hand. This created a serious problem for the Zionists, and the university stopped the mural. Because the university president objected to An-Najah Ali, cartoon character, non-existent person, a cartoon character, the power of symbols, that threw a rock at the Israeli flag and exploded it. They said this is anti-Semitic and it gives him nightmares and he has to wear bulletproof. As a result, on the day the mural was unveiled, we actually had to take out Hamdallah and Diki and put Sabr in its place. However, on the day the mural was unveiled, all the Palestinian students and their allies came wearing t-shirts with Hamdallah on them. So Hamdallah lives in the oral history, which is part of Teaching Palestine. I'm going to move. This is after 2009, you can see in the bottom. They said that they want to support Palestine, condemn Hamas, and they say throw a shoe at Hamas flag, and this is La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So you can see how Islamophobia is also being drawn upon to these things. Again, when the mural, we had an anniversary, Omar Barghouti was speaking. Afterwards, the president canceled the searches. And I'm going to continue on this, and this escalated as we were building the program. Especially after we came here in 2014, we met with people, we started An-Najah MOU, and then all of a sudden, and we were planning to do the minor, all of a sudden all of this stuff came up, including accusing you of misuse of university funds for coming to Palestine. And actually I insist that this is the use of public funds, to come to Palestine, to teach, to learn, to produce knowledge. I'm not going to talk about all of this stuff. Okay, this is I think some of you know this. This is our meeting in An-Najah 2 years ago. This is our meeting at Bir Zayt 2 years ago. This is a meeting with Muhammad Abu Khder's family, Allah yarhamu. And this is where our students started organizing a campaign to defend and advance ethnic studies. This is Palestinian students. But you can see in it also, people who are in San Francisco are supporting Palestinians' teacher strike here. And then in 2016, I think Salim is going to talk about that, students protested the visit to San Francisco State by the racist mayor of occupied Jerusalem, Nir Barkat. And then again, a new avalanche. Now they say I'm promoting violence because in my academia.edu, I say the third Palestinian Intifada. And actually I was going to take down the post because the third Palestinian Intifada did not happen. But now because they keep accusing me of it, if I take it down, it looks like I'm being respondent to them, so I have to keep it. Even though for me it's irrelevant to the time, I don't have a choice. So sometimes some of the things we do are always dictated by the powers that control our lives. And I think it's really important to think about that. So then they started in September 2000. This is the big campaign against An-Najah, the MOU. A huge petition to demand the end, and then about thousands of tweets against me. Then they started then they started a wanted style ads. They put them all over campus. This is other people around the nation, including Angela Davis last year. Jew hater, Hamas BDS collaborator with terrorists, put them on 26 wanted. Okay, this is some of the posters that appeared. Okay, but we persist. We passed, we submitted and proposed 2 new courses, one on Edward Said and one on the Palestinian mural and the art of resistance, and they were approved and we're teaching them now. The Palestinian students had the mural anniversary, and it was a very successful event, standing room only. And the students organized Know Your Rights, and I think this is going to come up in Salim. And the students organized a solidarity with the Palestinian hunger strikes. This is students, Palestinian students and their allies on campus. On May 3rd, we have a new set of posters now targeting Jewish Voice for Peace, Students for Justice in Palestine, and Rasmiya Audeh. And then the lawsuit began. And then during that, we had a constitution day where Robin was the keynote speaker on September 18. On September 21st, we had a new set of posters. You can see now this is the GUBS office, the Palestinian Student Office. They put them out for display. Okay, they put them on the main bus station, bus station for the area, not just for San Francisco State. Yeah. But what the students did, they put up the Palestinian flag and put up signs. Hate speech is not free speech, all over campus. And this is not Palestinian students, by the way, this is general students. We say we will not be silent. We will not be silent. We continue to teach Palestine. And we come here in Palestine to teach about Palestine, to advocate for justice. Thank you.
شكرا كثير دكتورة رباب عبدالهادي. طبعا أنا في عجالة خلال يعني دقيقة قامت الدكتورة رباب طبعا بشكر الجامعة وشكر جميع من شارك في إنجاح هذا المؤتمر. ويعني أهم النقاط أن إنتاج المعرفة فيما يخص فلسطين يجب أن يكون متجدد في العدالة، ونحن لا ندرس الكراهية ولكن نريد أن ندرس العدالة في أي مكان، في الجامعة، في السجن، في المقاهي، في كل مكان. هذا هو مشروعنا، قالت الدكتورة رباب. وفي ذكرى مئوية بلفور، المئوية الاستعمارية، هي أيضا هي 100 سنة من المقاومة و70 سنة من النكبة. نحن هنا قالت نحاول أن نكون ضد أو الرواية الصهيونية التي تتحدث عن الاستسلام والهزيمة، ولكن نحن نروي رواية مختلفة بين المقاومة والصمود. وأيضا حتى استخدام المفردات كمستعمرات أو كمستوطنات، استخدام المفردات هو بحد ذاته مقاومة. وتحدثت عن روحانية سنة 68 والأحداث اللي صارت في فرنسا وكل حول العالم. أيضا الحملة الرهيبة التي قامت بها الحركة الصهيونية من منظمة كامبس ووتش، اللي هي بتكون بمراقبة كل الأصوات المناصرة لفلسطين ومحاولة إسكاتها، فتحدثت بتفاصيل عن ذلك. وقالت كيف حاولوا أن يهجموا عليها بشكل شخصي، وأيضا يحاولوا إنهاء مذكرة تفاهم ما بين جامعة النجاح وجامعة سان فرانسيسكو، ودفعوا مئات الآلاف من الدولارات، إذا ما كانش ملايين طبعا. شفتوا البوسترات ومحاولة يعني تشويه السمعة. وكان آخر يعني حركة إنه حتى رئيس الجامعة في جامعة سان فرانسيسكو نتيجة الضغط أصدر ستيتمنت أو بيان يرحب فيه بالصهاينة، فقامت أيضا ردة فعل على ذلك. حتى من اليهود اللي هم غير صهيونيين قالوا لن الصهيونية لا تتحدث باسمنا. ومن Jewish Voices of Peace وكل المؤسسات ومن البلاك ستودنتس ومن كل المؤسسات. فهذه هي حملة مكارثية جديدة لإسكات الأصوات المناضلة مع فلسطين. حاولوا انهم يدمروا شغل الدكتور رباب وشغل مش بعد بروفيسوريه كان زي الدكتور سليطه وكثير بروفيسوريه في امريكا، وهناك تمويل رهيب لهذه الحملات، ولكن المتضامنين وهذه وقفوا مع فلسطين ووقفوا مع هذه الاصوات الحره. فشكرا جزيلا للدكتور رباب، وهذا هو ملخص الموضوع. الان معنا 20 دقيقه حتى رجعنا على السكيدجول، يعني معنا 20 دقيقة من النقاش والأسئلة. We have 20 minutes of discussion and questions. You can have 1 minute, maximum 2 minutes if you want to have a comment or ask a question. فممكن طبعا ال question for Dr. Rabab and also for Dr. Robin Kelley for the two sessions. هلا إذا حد يسأل بالعربي يعني هذا ممكن أن أترجم السؤال. أوكي. ده في ديسكشن، احنا ضايل معنا 20 دقيقة هيك. we have 20 minutes for discussion. أي سؤال نقدر. أوكي خلينا سؤال بسؤاله أفضل عشان الرفيقة ميسر العتياني تفضل. أوكي أنا صوتي عالي مش مشكلة. هذا شغالين.
عندنا مايكروفون لأنه إحنا عم ستريمينج لايف.
أيوه هذول شغالين هذول برضه. أوكي. طبعا بعد ال 20 دقيقة رح يكون في هناك كوفي بريك، وبنرجع بالضبط على ال 11 على 10 ونص، اسف على 10 ونص لبداية الجولة الأولى.
صباح الخير للجميع، صباح الخير لجامعة النجاح وللدكاترة وللطالبات بداية للهيئة التدريسية. كل عام وأنتم بخير على يوم المرأة والأرض والكرامة وآداب ويوم الأم، كل عام وأنتم بخير. أهلا وسهلا دكتورة رباب صديقتنا وزميلتنا. طبعا من الناس المتابعين دائما لما يحصل من اعتداء، أنا بسميه اعتداء صهيوني ضد الدكتورة رباب والمجموعة بجامعة سان فرانسيسكو.
الصوت غالي شوي.
الصوت طبعا بشرفني أكون أنا صديقة للدكتورة رباب بنت بلدنا بنت فلسطين اللي بتمثلنا. سؤالي هو كالتالي: تعرضت الدكتورة رباب والمجموعة كاملة بحملة صهيونية مبرمجة بالجامعة خلال إدارة هل كان في هناك ضغوطات على الدكتورة رباب بعدم التدريس، بعدم التواجد، بعدم الطرح بأيات موضوعة تتعلق بالقضية الفلسطينية فقط، أم كليا بتواجدها بجامعة سان فرانسيسكو؟ هذا السؤال الأول. هل الضغوطات والاعتداءات، عفوا ليست الضغوطات، الاعتداءات الصهيونية كانت شريكة مع الضغوطات الاعتداءات أمريكية من قبل إدارة الجامعة عليك وعلى المجموعة بشكل عام وعلى من يعمل بمجال الأكاديمي والسياسي النضالي؟ هل كان هناك تجاوب من قبل الهيئة التدريسية بجامعة سان فرانسيسكو تجاه ما يحصل من اعتداء وحملات صهيونية على الدكتورة رباب؟ السؤال الأخير: على مستوى التضامن والدعم سواء الفلسطيني نحن كأفراد، هل كنا نرتقي بما قدم للدكتورة رباب والمجموعة، أو على الصعيد الرسمي أيضا هل كان هناك تجاوب على الصعيد الرسمي؟ وأهلا وسهلا فيك فلسطين وطنك طبعا.
Because you took notes, Dr. Can you like just the questions?
On? Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
Okay. طيب ميسر was a very long friend and very long comrade, and can you hear me now? Okay. And we actually last conference at An-Najah was one of the speakers, because all the speakers from An-Najah were former Palestinian prisoners, and it was very impressive to the delegation. And so Miyasar is basically first saying Happy Mother's Day yesterday, the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the Karama battle, where Palestinians and Jordanians came together to defeat Israeli attacks. It's coming. The land day is coming, and she was also welcoming the young women of An-Najah, which I'm mentioning that because I want to speak about it. Her question is asking about the systemic Zionist attack. Is this attack against me only about Palestine, teaching Palestine, or about everything I'm doing? What is the role of the university with the Zionists? Is the university collaborating or not? What is the response of the faculty, other faculty, and what sort of support there is, and how has it been from the Palestinians? So I'm going to be very brief. And the reason I mentioned the young women of An-Najah, because part of the campaign that they did, and I didn't have time to show it, I could not turn down things from the internet. All the attacks on An-Najah, they only show pictures of men in An-Najah. And because in order for them to say An-Najah is breeding grounds for quote-unquote terrorists, they have to present a very sanitized image of men, not women and men. And every time I speak, I say everybody knows that more than 50% of the faculty of the student body in all Palestinian universities are young women. But they cannot put that. It is part of the lies and the distortion and misrepresentation. In terms of the attack, actually it is an attack all total, like completely wholesale attack. And part of it is because I'm also, and you can see my computer, I'm very proud member of the California Faculty Association, our union. And our union and our students have also been fighting against what we call the neoliberal corporatization of the university. Part of the problem that these attacks are possible, and this is where the role of the university comes in, is because we have all these donors. The state, both the state of California and the US state in general, is withdrawing its support from public education, where public education is supposed to be provided for everybody. So what is happening is that university administrations are going to private donors and foundations to seek money. We have Zionist donors, we have multiple donors, but including Zionist donors, who have donated several $1 million and set up an Israeli chair, studies in Israeli chair. And also, they began, after I came, they gave them $90,000 to have visited for an Israeli chair. Now they have an Israeli chair. And they are housed in the Department of Jewish Studies. Unfortunately, unlike other departments of Jewish Studies, where there are 7 professors of Jewish Studies that wrote amicus brief in support of me in court, this department is part and parcel of these attacks. So they have been very much participating. So the university is more accountable to the donors that give the money than to the public that it's supposed to be accountable to. And we are contesting that, and part of it is questioning, why do I apply for and receive funding to travel to Palestine? This would be misuse of university funds. And I say, no, actually this is the best way of using public funds to be able to collaborate, to learn about the world, to connect with the world. Otherwise, people, even our students, will be very isolated. And the university keeps claiming we want to be a global university. This is what a global university does. The MOU with An-Najah, by the way, the only reason I went and tried to do it is not because I don't have relations with An-Najah. I have excellent relations with An-Najah before and after the MOU. I'm Palestinian, I'm from here, I'm Bint al-Balad. But these relations already exist. The reason I did this because our university president wanted to have agreements with universities in Arab and Muslim communities. Part of it is because he wanted to raise funds in the Gulf and elsewhere and so on. And I said my relationship are with Palestinian universities. And I reached out to An-Najah and Birzeit, the 2 universities I know. An-Najah was very quick to get everything together, send me everything. So we submitted it. It was approved. It went through all the channels of the university. That's why the agreement cannot be undone. But what they are trying to do now is to even curb my participation and say, why are you doing this? And one of the problems is also, part of the pressure is that one of the Zionists on campus, who has been, he's high level now, he is actually higher level, he's in charge of insurance at the university, he is vice president, he's in charge of the university corporation, but he's also the advisor of 3 students who are suing me and the university. I mean, he's very well known. His spouse, his partner, is the executive director of the Jewish Community Relations Council, which is the main body in San Francisco that actually advocating for Zionist things. This is not, so it is not accidental. This is something, and it's all obvious, very apparent, and so on. Now, the faculty has been extremely supportive. California Faculty Association, they came up with 2 resolutions. The last one is really actually even stronger than the first, and they demanded that the university fund the program. Because one way to fight these individual attacks is to institutionalize the program. We need faculty. We have a lot of students. We don't have enough spaces in our classes. I open the waiting list, more students join. And then some students drop. Then I open it again and more students. My classes are completely full. And when we fight for extra classes and so on, they also become full. And students want to learn about Palestine. They want to learn about Islamophobia. They want to learn about colonialism, imperialism, and they're interested. These are issues that concern them. So our classes are very popular, very relevant. They produce knowledge justice. So they have a serious problem with that too. If they attack the program, what happens is that I become only an advocate, seen as an advocate. There is nothing wrong with that. But I will only be seen as an advocate that is not institutionalized in the academy. You silence that, and this is the attack against Stephen Salata and getting him fired. This is attacks against Students for Justice in Palestine. These are the posters of all my colleagues you've seen. And now it seems that they've stopped their tactics from only attacking everybody, and they're focusing only on Palestinians. I think because they don't attack any more Jewish faculty members who are supportive of us, because if they do that, it really affirms our question, who owns Jewishness? So they want to say they speak for all the Jews. So by attacking Jewish voices, then Jewish voices show that you don't have monopoly, you don't have domination over Jews. The last point is that actually California Faculty Association went to, the resolution led to widespread support for Palestine by the San Francisco Labor Council. In the first time in history, San Francisco Labor Council last year passed a resolution in support of us and ending for academic freedom and so on. This year they issued a stronger resolution demanding that the university reinstates the 2 faculty lines that they took from us. And that's a resolution on Palestine. It was passed unanimously in the Labor Council of all the trades in one of the biggest cities in the US. Support is amazing. There's a lot of support from our people. An-Najah has been really great. My colleagues around the world, people have been, the community has been, and this is what keeps person going, because it becomes really difficult. But when you see the support, when we do a teaching, everybody comes, the students keep, now all these new student groups and so on, it gives you reinforcement. You want to, I'm for sumud, I'm steadfast, okay, I'm samida. There is no way I'm going to give up. But you give me also muqawwimat as-sumud. And this is the way that allows people to continue. You fight when you see everybody standing with you, and we find everybody understand that this is part of justice, then people come together.
Thank you دكتور رباب. يعني بدها تزقيفة هذه. يعني الدكتورة رباب لخصت الحملة الصهيونية على برنامجهم عليها شخصيا، ولكن قديش بدفعوا مصاري وقديش بدفعوا تمويل. وطبعا نتيجة سحب الأموال من الببليك إديوكيشن، من التعليم العام، الجامعات عم بتروح على الممولين الخاصين، وكثير منهم صهاينة. فهدول الصهاينة بيحاولوا إنهم يأثروا في الأجندات ويأثروا في السياسات، خاصة في موضوع التغريدات عن فلسطين. ولكن قالت أنه هذه الهجمة عم تنتج ردات فعل، هاي ردات الفعل هي بمصلحتنا، خاصة لما بيحاولوا يهاجموا اليهود اللي مش صهيونيين. هذا بيلقي الضوء على اليهود اللي مش صهيونيين، وبقولوا انه في اصوات غير صهيونيه بتتحدث باسم اليهود في امريكا. وايضا هذا ايضا بيلقي الضوء انه كثير ناس صارت مهتمه في الموضوع. فهذه البلاك لاش عماله بيجي عروس الصهاينه، وان شاء الله دائما بتيجي عروس الصهاينه. بنستمر، في معنا باقي 5 دقائق من الاسئله. تفضل دكتور حسن ايوب. في مايك.
Naam. Thank you so much. Actually, my question is for you, Robin, right? Speaking of power dynamics that you focused on when it comes to military-industrial complex in the United States, and the way black teaching movement is facing this power, do you think that there is a serious opportunity for teaching Palestine in black studies if we talk about the recent developments in the United States, which plays in the hands of Zionism? I'm talking, for example, of what Dr. Rabab actually alluded to in passing, speaking about Charlottesville and the interplay between Zionism and white supremacists in the United States and the Trumpism. Is there any serious opportunity for this kind of struggle to shift the whole discourse, let me say, from ethnic struggle and struggles of identity to this very profound concept of power dynamics, which reminds me with Frans Fanon's book on the richness of the earth, on Africa. Thank you so much.
There we go. You can use that one. Thanks.
That's a very good and very essential question right now. What I don't want to do is split off the question of power dynamics from race. It's about really the way that we interpret and understand race as part of the power dynamics. And that's why I'm so glad you mentioned Fanon's Wretched of the Earth as opposed to Black Skin, White Mask, because Fanon was pushing for a new humanism, which is based on a critique of colonial relationships, which he understood to be class and racial, and we understand them also to be gendered as well. So I think that, there's an opportunity, given the visibility, and this is not new, but the visibility of kind of extreme racist violence that the Trump administration, the Trump's election has sort of made visible. It wasn't like it wasn't there before. In fact, when Obama was elected, it was heightened racial violence, extreme, explicit racial violence. So it was always there, but I think the difference is, which is both an opportunity and a possible turn. The opportunity is that, we can continue to push to understand Palestine as part of the global character of racial capitalism, white supremacy, but at the same time, there's a way in which the explicit Trump-inspired racism and its focus on anti-Semitism can enable a different shift, and that is to take Zionism off the table as an object of critique. And that's something that I've also noticed, that suddenly you can't really talk about Zionism because now anti-Semitism and anti-Black racism are kind of tied together in Charlottesville. Second thing is that the other opportunity is the relationship between state power and systems of state violence, whether we're talking about the training of police in the United States by Israel, which is very clear, and vice versa, to make connections. But part of what we're struggling with, and what I talked about at the end about Afro-pessimism, is there's a disavowal of that. There's a tendency to say, there's no analogy. You can't have an analogy between Palestine and Black liberation. And that tendency is becoming more and more popular. And that's what I'm critiquing. So while we have an opportunity, there's also a sort of danger to lose the relationship. And that's why I think teaching Palestine in Black studies is more important than ever. More important than ever to make those connections, and not to make them as a kind of one-to-one parallel, but to identify what's different and what's distinct about each of these struggles, but then also how they're connected, not connected from the vantage point of victimization, but connected from the vantage point of global power.